Okay, guys, how's it going? So, I wanted to take a look at one of the situations in Royler Gracie versus Eddie Bravo 2, where I felt like Royler Gracie made a significant mistake. And I think this was a mistake from a strategic point of view. I think there was also a technical mistake where there was better options for him to do, but not only was there a better option, in my opinion, but also I think that he made a strategic error in that he really wasn't abiding by one of the main ideas of kind of pure Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is that you should really be allowing the match to play out to a certain degree. And what I mean by that is there's only a certain amount of forcing that you can do. In grappling, unless you're much stronger and bigger than your opponent. The rest of it, you have to kind of give and take a little bit and capitalize on mistakes and errors that get created. If you're, the example of this would be if you're intent, in this situation on doing a knee cut pass, and you decide that's the only pass that you're going to do a knee slide and it's going to happen, uh, it's very easy to defend because there's an understanding of exactly what's going on. Your opponent can game plan for that specifically, and if they feel like that's the only pass you're trying to do, you're just going to do all the things that make the knee cuts hard. And if you're not willing to change that approach, it's going to be very difficult to slide through. Now, this match was very interesting because it was characterized by almost a total of like 10 minutes of sitting in this knee cut from Royler Gracie. Where it kept coming back to the situation where Eddie would have this kind of quarter guard, Royler would have this just driving his knee through the center, just trying desperately to get an underhook with the right arm and drive that knee through as far as possible in order to get this knee slide. And I felt like it was just when I watched it live initially, I thought it was crazy that he would spend so long on this one thing and not reset and try to go a different direction, because this was one of the tenets that had just been ingrained over and over and over again, in when I was doing jiu-jitsu early on. And so I thought it was strange that coming from the same school of thinking, that traditional Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu base, which kind of has that school of thinking, I just thought it was very strange. So anyway, the point being here, in this section right here where Eddie Bravo has a quarter guard, we can see that the knee of Royler Gracie right here is through and past the knees, right? So if we drew a knee line right here, we would see that the knee is past that, which means that Royler can effectively backstep from this position into the saddle. And I thought it was very strange that Royler would not do this. Now, some part of me didn't feel like it was strange because, Royler is not a leg locker and he's not super interested in trying to enter into the saddle and get a heel hook. However, this is just the absolute perfect scenario to do it, and I think it's definitely the optimal choice for this moment. He would not do that, and despite being here almost the entire match, or at least half of the match, he would not backstep into the saddle. Now, there are definitely moments where Eddie would take this hand right here, this right arm of his, and hook around the underside of the leg, in which case that would prevent the saddle, right? Because he wouldn't be able to extend his left leg over the top and click into it anymore. But of course, as we see in this moment, there are also moments where this leg was free, and it would be very possible for Royler to swing his left leg around and then enter into the saddle and have a deep leg lock opportunity almost instantaneously. And so I thought that was an interesting thing. And from here, there was, as we play this out just a little bit, it shows how diligently Royler is working to look for that underhook, and to just apply heavy pressure, knee to the floor, look for the underhook, look for the crossface, pressure in. This opportunity for the backstep right here is here the entire time, and I just find it interesting that choice was never made to just try it. Especially since Royler has a good ability to get back up to his feet. He also has a good guard. I mean, I don't think that he's scared of being on his back to any degree. The guy is a master of jiu-jitsu. And so, yeah, I just thought it was odd that this was never chosen or selected as an option, especially since Eddie is putting himself in the perfect position to get stuck with a saddle entry here. So, yeah, I just thought that was a weird part of the match that, looking back a few years later, is interesting to look at and see what could have maybe gone differently.